everyone to the third episode of With Vichar Season 3 presented to you by Warwick India Forum. My name is Ashna Lunkar and I'm the co-head of finance at WIF. Today we have with us Ms. Poonam Gupta. And for those of our viewers who might not be aware, Ms. Poonam is a Scottish Indian entrepreneur and the founder of PGE Paper, which is one of the fastest growing paper companies in the UK. She's also a philanthropist and a keen art collector and made headlines in 2017 when she bought one of her most expensive paintings in an attempt to raise funds for the Virat Kohli Foundation to tackle human trafficking, which is a cause very close to her heart. In addition to that, she's had a significant contribution to COVID centers around India to meet the country's urgent need for oxygen and has helped out over 10,000 hospital patients across the country. I am incredibly honored to share the stage with you today, and WIF is glad to have you on board.
Thank you, Ashna. I'm glad to be talking to you today.
Lovely. So, would you like to tell our audience about your journey from India to UK as a female entrepreneur?
I came to Scotland back in 2002. And I came towards the west of Scotland, which is complete contrast to sunny Delhi. In fact, we have torrential rains right now. And when I came over, very quickly, I got news from India that my mother was very ill. And unfortunately, I lost her very quickly and I went back to India. And I came back again to Scotland back in October 2002. And I realized I was not in a good place and started looking for a job. And I couldn't find a job, even though I had an MBA degree in international business and marketing. And I'm an economics honors graduate from Freeram College of Commerce and topper from Delhi Public School. I was told that I didn't have enough experience in the UK. And sitting around isn't something that I guess I wanted to do. So I started playing with ideas and I started a small business, which was a locum agency. During this time, I worked in a tax department voluntarily just to get some knowledge about the UK and how the businesses work here. And in 2003, after 10 months of hard work and research, PG Paper Company Limited was born. And the journey started there. I've had a lot of personal and professional challenges, as you can imagine, along the way. I've had two lovely daughters during this time. And my company today is working in 60 different countries. We have around 7 offices around the world. And we are one of the largest players in the paper industry. And I guess we are making an impact in this business. And because I do have diverse interests, that's not my only business. I own dental surgeries. I have other businesses in hospitality, construction. I just like the challenge and I just go.
Wow, that's absolutely so inspirational. It's amazing how you did all that. You did mention, though, that you weren't able to find a job immediately when you came to the UK. So how did you deal with the rejection? And could you tell us a little about the early struggle you faced?
Well, like I said, having lost my mother so suddenly, which I didn't think was ever going to happen, I was not in a good place, personally. And I realized that I had to keep myself busy. So, I was told, for example, in the UK, everybody worked, and I started looking for a job. And I was so desperate to keep myself busy. I could have worked at Tesco tills, in supermarkets. I was ready to take any job. And I went for interviews. And then every time I was told that, I didn't have enough experience to work in the UK, or for some jobs I was overqualified. And I didn't have any money and I didn't want to borrow money from my in-laws. I didn't know them that well at that time. So I had to come up with an idea which, I could start a business with very little money. And at the time, I got lucky. There was a grant which was going on for startups. I got £1,000 grant from Business Gateway in Scotland. And with that money, I started my business. And I came up and restructured my business model. So I didn't need a lot of money to have a business as such. And today, I think the business last year turned over just short of £56 million.
Wow.
Obviously hit the business a little bit, but doesn't worry me at all. I've been working for 19 years. We have a solid team here. We will bounce back.
That is incredible to hear. And especially like women in a new country with such limited knowledge about the market, you've managed to create such an established business in all these years. My next question to you would be, how do you see the development of UK-India relations in terms of cooperation business, and how do you think it's going to grow in the future?
Well, just like any other business, I guess I'm really excited about this development of the, potential FTA agreement between India and the UK. And as a businesswoman, I'm also giving my feedback into what we should, be looking at. It would be nice to see the final draft, but I think there is so much of history between UK and India. There is so much potential of what can happen between the two countries. I think it'll be very exciting to see how the whole thing develops. I hope more and more Indian businesses will come and set up shop in the UK and vice versa as well, and grow. Both the economies will grow together in the future.
Right. I think that is the dream. It really will play a big role for all of us when we grow up and we want to set up our own businesses. So yeah, I think you're an absolute inspiration for all of us, and for all our audience today. What's one piece of advice that you'd like to give to the students at Warwick and Warwick India Forum?
Well, you guys have come, to learn in a different country, and I believe traveling and being away from home is a huge experience in itself. It's a really important life experience. Make the most of it. But for those who are wanting to be future entrepreneurs, remember that you don't need a lot of money to start a business. And sometimes the most important thing is to start. You might have a brilliant idea, which could potentially become a multi-billion pound business, but you're not going to get anywhere if you're not going to start. So have that confidence in yourself and get started.
That's some great advice. Thank you so much for that. So I think we can move on to the rapid fire. So I'm gonna say a word and you have to tell me the first word that comes to your mind. Okay, so let me start. Education.
Important.
Charity.
Must.
Success.
Hard work.
Family.
Love.
India.
Home.
Wow, that was a good rapid fire. Really getting your insights on everything. What's one thing you learned the hard way?
Well, there were many things I learned the hard way. I have learned that, one must give time when one has an opportunity to learn. It's not always about getting paid. So I worked with a chartered accountant. I went in for 2 months free of cost, but there was so much learning. I didn't know anything about starting a business in the UK, but even working at the lowest rank, I was pretty much, just a data input person, and I used to truly hate the job. But I used to hear the conversations around and ask the questions. And that was, my rapid learning, if you say, regarding the business world in the UK and how it operates, which absolutely helped me set up my own business. And wherever I didn't know, or I couldn't find the answers to what I was looking for, I was never afraid to ask a question. So I would say that, there are no stupid questions. Always go ahead and ask the question and not be afraid of asking.
Right. And what would your top 3 tips for aspiring entrepreneurs be?
So for aspiring entrepreneurs, I will say the first one would be, you don't ask, you don't get. So always ask. Whether if you're trying to learn something or you're not sure about something, go out and ask for help. The second thing I will say is there is no shortcut to hard work. Entrepreneurship is not really a part-time job. Yes, eventually you can work smart, but initially you have to work hard, and you need to be able to put in the hours and have that commitment that would be required while you're starting your business. And the third thing I'll say is every problem has a solution. So always focus on the solution, not the problem.
Wow, those are some amazing tips. And I think I'm going to have to incorporate them in my own life now because, like you mentioned, there is no way around the hard work. My follow-up to that was you did go through a lot of struggles, and you mentioned how important it is to work hard when you're a self-made entrepreneur. How were you able to balance that along with your family, and you met like your two daughters and everything? How did you manage and have that work-life balance?
Well, then sometimes I look back, to be very honest with you, I have no idea how I managed. Yes, it was my passion and drive. I didn't have any family in the UK. Over here, every entrepreneur, especially women, we need support. If we want to go out and achieve something, we need support. And I did lack that very basic, essential support system. So I created my own support system. If I were to give you an example, my business always operated internationally. And when my daughter before she was 1 year old, she had been almost with me around the world with more than 17 countries on various business trips.
Oh God, wow.
Go and see somebody, whether it was customers, suppliers, or supply chain organizers. I would simply say I was quite I guess looking forward in that time, and I would just simply say, look, I'm a working woman, I have a young child, I need to bring her with me. I just took her with me. I was not afraid to ask the question, and I was surprised how much help I got. I remember being in a boardroom in China with 17 people and my daughter in a pram in a corner. She didn't make any noise, but before I knew, the whole factory found out there was a child in the boardroom, and she disappeared, God knows, somewhere in the manufacturing unit. And I found that, when I didn't have help, either I simply took her with me or found help. Yes, I had to work long hours. I had to work silly hours, but that's where, as an entrepreneur, your drive, passion, and focus kicks in. You make time. This is one thing I'd say is good about entrepreneurship. It does give you a level of flexibility that one may not have in a normal 9-to-5 job. And it gave me that level of flexibility, which I used to the maximum limit that I possibly could, to ensure that the business ran alongside, and the family, I could look after the family business, still make sometimes dinner at night. I didn't have home help, so I used to go back and cook dinner. It was to be long, tiring day. But I think if you're driven, then you'll find time and ways to do it. But don't give up. That's the main thing there, that, don't give up. Hardships also lead to beautiful journeys in life and achievement. Stay ambitious.
Right. Picking up from the hardships point, how was it losing your mother so early on, and how did you manage to just stay focused and move to a different country and do it all by yourself? And how did you basically keep your personal life and professional life separate and still continue to work hard and not lose hope?
When I lost my mother, it did hit me really hard, and I was not in a good place mentally. But I also realized that I was in a new country where I didn't know anything and I didn't know anybody. So I think as a human being, one of the things I realized that, I had to connect to the outside world. I couldn't just be in that cocoon where, by myself. And that's where, when I started looking for jobs, because with jobs, I would have met people, made friends. It didn't quite work out for me, but then it worked out, I guess, better for me in other ways. I'm actually now glad that I never found that job. But, and that helped me cope. A loss of a parent is a big loss to anyone. And I don't think we ever get over that. But just, with time, life takes on. And we just have to let the process happen. And that was not just my only hardship. Then I had my 2 children. And I remember I had my first delivery and I was back in my seat the next day, 9 o'clock in the morning. Nobody asked me to, but at that time I was running the business by myself. So whatever had to happen, I had to do it. And when my daughter was 1 year old, I was down. But that, like in a way, my children and my business always kept me focused. So I didn't have the time to reflect upon what was not right in my life. I always tried to focus on the positive and, moving ahead.
I think that is one of the best takeaways that I'm going to take from this session today, just focusing on the positives, working hard and moving forward, because you have to just take life as it comes. So
Yes, nobody prepares us for how life is going to be and how it comes. One has to, sometimes it feels like it's very unfair, but that is life. And as much as it leaves us devastated, it changes us as a person. I think we need to remember that life is life and we have to live it, and might as well make the most of it while you're here.
wow, that was some amazing insights and really true in today's in life and for anyone. So I think thank you so much for your time, and it was lovely to have you on board. And yeah, I think that's about it from my end.
Thank you, Ashna, and I wish you all the best for your future as well.
Thank you.